Hey guys, it's Crabbok coming to you with another unboxing and review. Today I'm doing the Tantive IV, just got it, and it's awesome, otherwise known as the Blockade Runner, otherwise known as the Karelian Corvette, otherwise known as the CR90, otherwise known as the ship with the most possible names ever. Here it is, and here it is in comparison, just to give you a sense of how big this thing is. Here it is next to, this was a little transport box, and it's way bigger. It's at least 20% bigger, maybe 25% bigger. Real big box. It's beautiful. Still in the plastic, so I have not opened it up and looked at it yet. This is going to be live. Well, not really live because you're going to watch it later. And there are plenty of them in stock. If you live in Orlando, go to Sci-Fi City and get yours. And I don't get a cut of the profits, even though I mention them. But they're a good store. All right, so here we go. First things first. And here it is in the big plastic. Now, to be honest, I've been looking at this thing. I picked it up on my lunch break, and I just got off of work, so I'm home. Finally take a look at it. The very first thing I noticed is that when I open it up, it smells. It smells like a body shop. It smells like there's auto paint being used on this thing. Is that what they call car paint? Auto paint? I don't know. I just made that up. But yeah, it really smells like very chemically, very plasticky. It's very strong too. I wonder if it has to do with the paint that they used on this thing. Now this one is held in place by twisty ties. The same kind that hold a lot of action figures in place. If you're getting Marvel Select action figures, then you know what I'm talking about. And I hate twisty ties. Like, who's gonna really steal this? Like, I don't know. All right. Now, I love it. I love it. Here it is. I am definitely gonna repaint this thing though. Not the whole thing, but I'm gonna do some touch-ups. I'm going to, oh, this moves, yes. The dish moves. And I'm told the guns move. Oh yes, mine move pretty well. I've seen some people have said they only move a little bit, but look at this. I can move mine all the way around, like 180 degrees. Yeah, it moves 180 degrees. Let's check the bottom one. That one came right off. Oh, well that's lovely. Comes right off. So, now you know, if you move it 180 degrees, it can come right off. So that may be something you might want to glue in, or actually it'd be really awesome that it's really awesome that it comes off, because if you are into customs, you could make a whole custom turret for this thing and make it look really, really nice. Maybe like, or maybe make it look really terrible. So there's the escape pods. I don't know what this is down here. Is that like a siren? Like, who's gonna hear you in space? It's like, whoa, whoa, the Empire is coming! The Empire is coming! Run, run! I don't know. It's like nobody's gonna hear that. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So this one comes right off too. There's a whole lot of modding that's gonna happen to these things. I am certain of that. So that's cool. Oh wow! I already had one of these turrets come off too. This thing is falling apart. I didn't even notice this one. It just popped right off, which tells me that these are also movable, but pop right off. You saw it. You saw it live. This thing's falling apart out of the box. So as far as unboxing goes, it's falling apart, but I still like it. I'm going to paint all these turrets too. I don't like them. I don't like turrets being the exact same color as the ship. And I don't like the, I don't know if you can see really close detail here, but parts of the wash that they used on here, it's a little too light and it's a little too brushy. It looks a little too, I don't know, condensed in some parts and too thin in other parts. And so I'm gonna have to do a new wash on the whole thing, and I might repaint the red parts here a little too. There's a little weathering, you can see. I don't mind the weathering, but I just don't like the way that this particular weathering works. Like, I like weathering, but I just don't like this weathering. It looks too artificial. So I'm probably gonna redo this with maybe a darker red to match my Blood Squadron. So it'll look a little different, but it's still gonna, I still, from now on, I think when I do repaints, I want them to still look like the ship. But maybe just not exactly the same. All right, so, all right, let's get to the rest. Here, I'll set you, I'm gonna set it off to the side. Wow, that thing is huge. It's huge! In before, that's what she said reference. Okay. So, we've got stands, bases. We have 3 of these little black things, and you'll see what they're for here in a minute. One is obviously for the dial, but the other 2 are going to be for the range finder. We have 2 books. One is a rule book, and the other one is a mission booklet. So we'll talk about that later. There's going to be a couple of new missions. So there's 1, 2, 3, or 2 parts. Yeah, 4 new missions, and 2 of them have 2 different parts. So that's pretty cool. And now we've got our cardboard cutouts here. This is the base. If you've seen the Rebel Transport, then you're familiar with this style. This one's a little bigger, but not by a whole lot. And we've got our dial there. One thing that really surprised me about this dial is that it has a max speed of 3 forward. No, it doesn't. I stand corrected. It has a max speed of 4 forward. Okay, well, never mind. I could have sworn in the spoilers it only went to 3 forward. So I was expecting... See, this is how you know this is a real unboxing. This is my first time seeing it. I could have sworn I saw somewhere that it only went up to 3. And then I was going to complain that that's not right, because this thing should be faster, or at least just as fast as the transport. Turns out it is. All right. Well, this is really cool. Look at this. This is a Class E cargo container. And it's a really, really big objective. I mean, this is obviously for a mission. But it's pretty big. It's pretty nice. And of course we have our movement dial, which appears to be exactly the same as the other movement dial for the Rebel Transport. Now, here we got a bunch more energy tokens. Actually, there's an awful lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 energy tokens. So it tells me that this ship is going to, be configurable to deal with a lot of energy. So we have, I'm taking this one out. This is the only one I'm going to take out right now. So we have a new dials, and there's mixed reviews on these. I don't like it. But so you've got a new rangefinder. You've got 1, 2, 3 here with the holes that are come in the middle. And then you have 3, 4, 5. Now, ideally, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take these other, remember these? I said we'd come back to them? You're supposed to take them out and punch them into here. So you got the 2 holes that would snap together, and then you get a 5. Now, the problem with this is too big to go in a lot of stuff. Like here's one of the inserts I use for my storage. That won't fit in there. Now, one solution I've seen somebody talk about is just equip one of them, just peg, so then when you're not in use, you can fold it. Problem is, that's still too big to fit in here. Maybe if I did a long ways, but that's still too big. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to transport this range finder. I don't like it. I don't like that they're giving us stuff that we can't fit in our cases. I mean, one option would be to just simply never use any of the cannons that have range 5, but I don't want to limit myself like that just because I can't, move can't transport this thing. So, I don't know. So here is the 2 cards, fore and aft. 50 points and 40 points. And if you flip them over, you have the damaged sides, which is pretty cool. It actually looks really nice. And so here's what it would look like if you had a crippled front and a fine back, and a crippled back and a fine front, or totally crippled. Anyway, can you see that? Those are pretty cool. We've got our damage deck, which I'm not going to go through everything in there because it's all pretty boring, the damage cards are. But here we go. Here's some of the stuff that I've really been waiting for. We've got Princess Leia, and let's see if she's got the typo. You may discard this. Maneuver. Okay, so yeah, Leia's got the typo. They spelled maneuver 2 different ways. One way is correct, one way is wrong. So I don't know. That's pretty funny. R2-D2. This is my boy right here, C-3PO. We're going to talk a lot about C-3PO. He's fun. Han Solo. Make them target locks way more powerful. It's going to be a very fun card. Ramus Antilles. Huge ship only. Targeting coordinator. Then we're getting into the special crew. Engineering team. Gunnery team. Sensor team. A couple of turbo lasers. These are the guys. These are the couple of 3 to 5. Range 3 to 5. I hate them. And then the quad laser cannons. Yeah. 1 to 2. Close range. I like the quad laser cannon. That's cool. Then we got some of our big ship stuff. The Tabana gas. Ionization reactor. Engine booster. Backup shield generator. Comms booster. And then the titles, Dodonna's Pride, Jaina's Light, and if just pause if you want to get a better look at any of these. The spoilers are all online as well, and then the Tantive IV. Pretty cool. Let's see. In our damage deck, we've got our forward sections, and then our rear aft section damage deck. Pretty standard. And then we have this card here, which is appears to be from one of the missions. It's got a front and a back. I don't know what this one's for yet. And we have an ion. Why is there an ion token on here? Did this thing come with any ion missiles? Or anything that can do ions? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know why there's an ion reference card in here. So anyway, we also have the point of no return. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even come with an ion token at all. I mean, granted, usually only ships that can... Yeah. Why does it have an ion... This is the mystery of the day. Why is there an... If you know why there's an ion token reference card in this thing, or if you can guess why, then... Because I could see if it referenced how an ion would work on big or huge ships, but it doesn't even mention how it works on huge ships. So if you can guess why they put an ion token card in here, please post it in the comments. Point of no return. This is one of those mission sheets. Alright, so there he is set up next to some other guys. And I don't know if you can see, like compared to the transport, this thing is way too bright. So that just further enhances my justification for giving it a little touch up with paint. I like how the back is a little darker. There's no engine lighting, but it's a little darker. Like there's been some exhaust over there, so I like that. But yeah, we're going to talk about some of the specifics to this ship, how it's different and how it's the same. First off, I want to talk about it's got a turret as its primary weapon, right? And if you look at the card here, it's range 3 to 5. So basically means it can't fire close, which is fine. But I'm going to be stuck using this doggone 5 range ruler. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. If you got a suggestion, let me know. So it's got a range 3 to 5. Now it's important to know that these two sections kind of act independently. It's almost like there's 2 ships. So that's good and it's bad, but it's pretty cool. So the front section when it's shooting, let's say it's going to shoot range 3. I'm going to use both of these right now. you know, okay, they can hit this X-Wing, right? Because he's just in range 3. He still gets the bonus evade for range 3. And if he's range 4, he gets 2 bonus evade. And if he's range 5, he gets 3 bonus evade dice. So those stack up. And I suppose if we ever see range 6, please say no, it'll be a 4th an extra evade die. So, well, this guy does get 4 attack. It's kind of stinky because there's going to be so many extra evade dice. So, you know, granted, attack dice are better than evade dice, but so on and so forth. Okay. So, now energy. This guy gains energy just like the other ship does, just like the transport. But energy only goes on the back. If you notice, the back section has energy. The front section doesn't get energy, right? So, after you, the way this works, I mean, it's intuitive, it makes sense, but just to explain it, once he gains energy, the back section gets the energy, and then after the back section gets however much energy he's got, his max energy is 5, but once he gets all the energy that he's going to get for the turn, he can then reallocate the energy. Like if there's guns up here that require energy, he can say, okay, I'm going to put 2 energy on this turret, and then I'm going to keep the rest back here for doing energy tasks and whatnot. So that's how that works. It's just a little different because on the transport you just had 1 card, so you just put the energy out there. In this case, it's specific that the energy is on the back section. Actions. All right, I said it was 2 cards. This thing gets 2 actions. It gets an action from the front, and then gets an action from the back, which is cool because the back section is really the power. So, I mean, the front section is the guns, the back section is like the support. So the front section can get a target lock, this is new for a huge ship, right? A target lock because he's got guns, that makes sense. And then he can do the no, that's coordinate. That's coordinate. So that's what gives a free action to another ship. Another regular ship, not a huge ship. Huge ships can't get free actions outside of like special scenario rules. And then the back section can do the shield and the reinforce. So the back section can recover shields, and the back section can reinforce. I don't believe the back section can recover shields on the front as well. That's something I'm going to have to look up. I believe the back section can only recover its own shields, but it might be able to recover shields for the front. If not, that makes for a good FAQ question. All right, so the side firing arcs. If you'll notice on the base here, you've got 2 sideways firing arcs in the front and 2 sideways firing arcs in the back. So if you equip secondary weapons, they'll have to use those firing arcs. Makes sense? Okay, if you were bringing Backstabber, and those are considered the primary firing arcs. So if you bring like, you know, Backstabber, you know, he'll be able to, if he's over here in the front, he would actually be outside of the firing arc. If he's here in the back, he would be outside of the firing arc. But if he's here on the side, he would not be outside of the firing arc, right? And I think that would hold true even if you didn't have a primary or a secondary weapon equipped in the back. It would still technically be in the firing arc. So that's pretty cool. Now there's something called crippled, right? I showed you this before. We flip these guys over, right? So basically crippled is a really cool mechanic for when one side gets destroyed. See, they each have their own hull and shields. They're independent of each other, even though they each have 8 hull, right? Look, they have different shields. They're independent. So the back section has 8 hull and 3 shields. The front section has 8 hull and 5 shields. This thing is a monster. This makes it the toughest ship in the game to take out, because that is 16 hull and 8 shields, 24 points of damage if you don't modify it. Plus you're going to be recovering shields during that time too, probably. So it's really hard to take this thing out. So if you destroy the back section, and that's going to basically be the strategy, if you destroy the back section, it's like you destroyed half of the ship, but not the whole ship. So you'll flip him over. If you notice, all he has now is icons, and he can't do actions anymore because he has no more actions, right? Unless, of course, he was granted one by something. And he's just got the 1 upgrade. So whereas before, you could have had all this other stuff, right? And so you have to lose whatever cards aren't supported by that, which could actually go into the strategy of builds. If you're going like for very little stuff, maybe you just keep 1 upgrade on there. So basically, once he's destroyed, You can only get one energy anymore, right? You have no more evade. You also can't be targeted anymore, so we can't target or attack the back. Once the back is crippled, it can't be targeted anymore. Only the front can be targeted. I believe when you're crippled, though, it's still, that back section is still going to count as an obstruction. So you can still block with it. So once they take out the back thing, they still have to take out the front, right? And so, or vice versa. If the front is alive and the back is, if the front is crippled and the back is still alive, then the ship's still alive. But then you would still have a turret, but it only goes down to 2 attack dice. And all he gets is 1 regular crew, loses all his other weapons, right? Whatever else he's got. So, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. And the reason that, it doesn't say 0 evade, it says a dash, is because you can't even attack it. You're not allowed to. Once both sections are crippled, it counts as being destroyed. So you have to destroy both sections in order to do it, in order to kill it. So that's the CR90. It moves the same way as the transport. For the record, I don't like this whole system, like these bases. It's just so flimsy. That's just me barely touching it. Like it fell apart 3 times when I was trying to just set it up and place it there. I don't really like the whole system. I think this whole system they have here is going to be a good source for mods. I would expect to see a lot of interesting stuff. And there's my favorite card out of the entire thing, C-3PO. C-3PO on the Millennium Falcon, just all you gotta do is guess 0 every time. Basically, his idea is, if you can guess, you can get more. If you guess how many evades you're gonna roll, you get an extra evade added to your entire roll. Well, all I have to do on the Falcon, being that I have 1 evade die, is guess 0. This way, if I roll the 1, then I have an evade. But if I roll a 0, then I get a bonus evade for C-3PO. So that basically means 1 automatic evade, no matter what, every single time. Which is really good against a ship like that. Because it's just, that almost doubles its survivability. So that's huge. And then if you pick the Millennium Falcon title, on top of that, you're looking at 2 automatic evades, at least for the first attack. So it's a really, 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 really nice thing for the Falcon. Another really, really great thing about the C-3PO card, once Rebel Aces comes out, the B-Wing will be able to get a co-pilot. So C-3PO on a B-Wing will be able to give it just the same amount of survivability, which is awesome because it's a cheaper ship. So with, the possibility of even more firepower. So I just love C-3PO. Love, love, love. There's a lot of other good combinations too. Han Solo's got great combinations because it essentially turns a target lock into a much better thing because you can use it as a target lock or a focus. And you have the choice. And choice is always one of the best things in this game. That's going to make Dutch a lot better. It's going to make anybody who's handing out target locks a lot better. It makes fire control system a lot better. So Han Solo could work in a B-Wing really well. There's a lot of possibilities there. So that's cool. And target locks persist. It's almost like, imagine you have a focus token that doesn't go away at the end of turn. That's kind of what that is like. R2-D2 I'm not too thrilled about. I'm sure there's probably some combinations that he could work really well with. I'm not crazy about R2, because I like him as an astromech better. And Leia's cool. There's definitely stuff for Leia, but I think she's kind of expensive. Now granted, she affects all of your ships, and that's cool. But I don't think what she does is worth 4 whole points because the elite pilot skill that only costs 1 does the same thing. It just does it for 1 ship. And how many times do you really need every ship to do a red maneuver at the same time? Yeah, sometimes you do, I guess. I'm just not that thrilled with it. I would have rather seen her do something else, but it's still a good card. There's definitely I'm sure. As people start using it, its worth is gonna show itself. But I'm just not particularly a fan. But those are the big ones, especially C-3PO. So have fun, guys.